Hi guys, I am back with another set of reviews for season 7 of American Horror Story, Cult. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do a review of this on the season premiere, but I'm going to do it now along with episode 2 in one big review together. Afterwards, reviews will be done by themselves separately. So let's get into this election night. Now, this starts off with the election and everything. We're at a house which houses the couple Allie and Ivy. They're a lesbian couple, and they're watching the election results. And then they come in, and Trump wins. So chaos arises, and then Allie starts freaking out and crying and everything. Another season of Sarah Paulson crying, most likely. And um, then we go to Kai, who is played by Evan Peters. And he's over there screaming because I'm guessing he's happy Trump won. So my guess is his character is going to be a Trump supporter in this season. I'm not for sure on that, but that's what I'm going to go with. And he's went to go bother his sister, Winter, and she's freaking out as well. She doesn't know what she's going to do. So after that, we get this little cutscene with Twisty. He's back, and him killing the couple, but it was just like a dream sequence of their son Oz reading comics because he likes Twisty, and they have Twisty comics in this verse. So she goes in there and sees what he's doing, tell him to go to bed, but now she's about to have a freak out because she doesn't like clowns. So she goes and leaves, having a full-on breakdown about these clowns. So Ivy goes to her therapist, who is played by Cheyenne, and she started talking about, the election night and everything, and her fear of clowns. And now she also has triophobia. I think that's the right pronunciation, which is a phobia of holes. And I don't like them either. Holes are very creepy. And she's just, getting everything out, and he's like, you need to calm down, just take a minute and breathe. So he prescribes her some medicine, and then she leaves. And then she goes to the store. And when she goes to the store, there's like this racist clerk guy who's played by Chaz Bono. And then she's going in the aisles. All of a sudden, clowns start appearing out of nowhere. And then they're over there having sex by the produce. So they're taunting her, and then she grabs a bottle of rosé because I guess the wine's gonna help. Guess you need a little wine to deal with these clowns. And so she just goes full on crazy and tries to, beat them. And then, she just runs out and then runs to her car, and all of a sudden, jump scare, there's a clown in the car. But there was nobody really there, surprisingly. And then we have a scene where, she gets back home and, she tells her everything's about the clowns, but she's like, her wife is like, girl, there's no clowns. Like, chill. So in order to keep safe, to keep anything, they can't watch the restaurant because she having her full-on breakdown, so they need a babysitter. So Kai wants to have Winter be the babysitter. Now, I guess they're coming up with this scheme and plan. I don't know what the plan is, but she's going to become the babysitter, and she does. And she's about a little crazy herself. She likes stuff about death, so she's making this child watch people get killed and everything. And then they hear something, and like the ice cream truck, and there's like clowns getting out of it, and they're going over to these people's house. And she's like, okay, let's go over there and see. I'd be like, no. But she takes him over there to see, and they're just over there killing people and stuff. And they were watching, and then they went back, and that's when they were coming back, and they saw the sirens because it kind of cut, and they figured out that the Changs, were dead. And Colton in this is playing a cop, I guess the lead detective on it. And the boy was telling them that, he saw the clowns, and then Winter was like, no, he was just imagining it. Yet they still trust her to be babysitting. I wouldn't trust her at all, as much as you can throw her. But that's what they do. And then this is when they came back from date night, because she was still freaking out. And so they decided to just call it a night and go to bed. And then Allie's in the bed, and then she's calling Ivy's name, and when she turns over, jump scare, there's a clown. And it just cut. And that was the end of election night. I thought it was an okay episode. A little bit boring at times, I guess I would say. I hope the pace really does pick up, and I hope it gets, a little bit more scary, because the funny thing is the sequences and the titles are always scarier than the series. Can the sequences and the titles the series be as scary as like the sequence and title? Like, the sequence was amazing. And now on to episode 2. So episode 2, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. So this starts off where we left off with Allie in the bed, and then she saw the clown, and then she jumps up and starts screaming, and she's like, oh my God, and Ivy runs in there, and she's like, oh my God, there's a clown in there, there's a clown. She's like, so she go get the knife, and she checking everywhere, but there ain't no clown nowhere. I'm like, girl, is these clowns real? Is they imaginary? How they keep getting in? I'm just confused. So, and then we go to Oz, and he's sleeping in his bed, and then all of a sudden, Twisty comes out of nowhere, and then, Oz starts running to the bathroom, and then there's another clown. I'm like, these clowns. I'm so tired of these clowns. And then they bust in by, I guess he was having a dream and everything. And so then we move on, and they start talking about what happened, which I forgot to mention in episode 1, was that Kai was messing with these guys who I guess were Mexican and saying some rude stuff, and then peed in a thing and threw it at them. So they went over there to handle business and beat him up. And I think he planned that. I think he wanted that to happen. So then now he was on the news talking about, oh yeah, when he said they were criminal and rapists and everything, they were true. So he's trying to run also for city council, I guess, get on the seat so people won't be afraid anymore. So then there's new people moving in across the street at the Changs, and they just got killed. So Allie want to go be nosy, like she always want to go be nosy and go see what's over there. And she starts looking around, and she sees them moving like barrels and stuff, and she peeking, and then some guy was like, hey, and then she left. So we get to Oz and Winter, and he was talking about he was being afraid. He didn't want to talk to her, so she was like, let's make this pact to take your fear away. And then they went over, and she took him over there to the people's place. And so Allie and Ivy went over there, and they were messing with bees. The guy is played by Billy Eichner, and the girl is played by Adina Porter. I do not know their names at this moment, but yeah. So they just moved in. He's gay. They're not but they made a pact. If they weren't married or anything, they would be with each other. So she has a rare form, I guess, of kind of skin cancer, so she can't be in the sun for a long time. So they go in the house, and they're a weird couple, because I'm like, who moves into a house where somebody just died, and there's like still blood on the floor, still everything on the floor, and they just cool with it? Like, people just die here and they kill? Like, what if they ghosts come and get you? So she was having that vibe too, so Allie wanted to leave, so they left. And then she went to the butcher shop, and there was a guy there who's a racist, and who was like, you better speak English. And Pedro was there, and I guess he's an immigrant. So they started to get into it, and then Allie broke it up. And then after that, she went home, and they were just talking, and I guess the alarm tripped for some reason. So Allie was like, okay, I'll go check it out and go see what it is. So she went down to the butcher shop, and then when she went in there, she found that the guy who was the racist was hanging in the meat freezer. So somebody and he was still alive, but she tried to get him off, but then she kind of killed him in a way because she kind of set it on there. So he died. So then the police were there and everything, and they were talking about it, and then they were talking about how maybe it could have been Pedro because they had gotten a fight just that earlier. But she was like, no, that's not it. So I guess they went to the couple's house, and Allie was kind of like fearing for her life, so she got a gun for some reason. And then after that, she had went to go talk to her therapist, and she had told him that she had got a gun, and she was like, well, do you really need a gun? Are you really that scared? And she ain't been taking her medicine, which she need to, but she told me she don't want to take her medicine because it makes her feel foggy and everything. So then, who Ivy had called the therapist, and she was like, really? I would call it too, because you going crazy. You're going out of your mind. And then somebody was at the door, and she gonna pick up the knife because that's the first thing she do. And she goes to the door, and then it's Kai, and he was telling to vote and everything. He was acting all intense, talking about, aren't you scared? Aren't you afraid? That's why you got bars on your door and bars on your window. Obviously, you're afraid. And they had it a little out, and then she just closed the door in his face because he threw a latte on her. So after that, it was just her and Oz and Winter. And Ivy was at the butcher shop. And so Allie was still being a little paranoid, looking at her medicine, talking about she don't want to take it. So Winter had suggested that she take a bath with some bath salts and some red wine. And so she went to go run the water for her and everything. And she was like, well, you ain't had to do this. But Winter is up to something. Because once she got in that bath, she had went to go check on Oz, but she had came back quickly. And then she started, washing her and everything. I'm like, you're up to something. Because she started to try to get a little fresh with Allie, knowing she got a wife. So then the power cuts out all of a sudden. And there goes another clown coming out of nowhere. And Ozzy is asleep, but he wakes up and he's like, wait, am I sleeping? And the clown's like, yes, you are. No, I've been like, and he just goes back to sleep and accepts it. I would have been like, listen, we need to figure out who this clown is. But I mean, I guess if you're a kid, you're like, maybe I am dreaming. So all of a sudden, Allie starts freaking out and everything. And then she having a full-on panic attack. And she goes to the windows, and the guy from the other house comes over, and he gave her some candles and was like, stay inside. Who knows what it is? So then Winter was like, I'm going to leave because I need to go check on my stuff. So Allie's freaking out, talking about, no, don't leave me. And then, so Winter leaves, and then she's freaking out, and then she calls Ivy, and then Ivy's like, calm down. You're going to have she about to have a full-blown heart attack from these clowns, and they ain't even get to her yet. So she's like, the phone cuts out, and then she's like Ivy gonna send Pedro over there with candles. And I knew this was gonna happen. I could feel it. And so Allie went to go wake up Oz. I'm like, come on, get up. She sees that the power is cut. And then all of a sudden a clown was there. I'm like, oh man. So her and Ozzy get down there. She grabs the gun. And then they race down there, and she's like, listen, we about to run out here. And then all of a sudden, she moves it, and then somebody pops up, and then she just shoots the gun. And it's Pedro. I knew that was going to happen. I could feel it. I was like, don't go over there because she got that gun. But, yep, that's what happened. That's how the episode ends. And overall, it was a great episode, I thought. It was good. And hopefully this season, gets even more better. And that's it. And I will see you guys next time for another review. And I hope you subscribe and comment. And thanks for watching.